Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We are live in the beautiful DJ studio. Welcome to Deja Visions, where we give you all the beautiful artists and businesses to promote. What is up, James C?
Peace.
So today, as you can see, I have the one awesome king, the LeBron James of poetry, James C Ellerbe. How is your night so far, my guy?
Going great now.
Definitely
after that introduction, it's a lot to live up to. The LeBron James of oh my
God. One of the greatest players, one of the greatest poets. I gotta say that. So I'm gonna tell him a little bit how I got to know you, and it's actually funny. I got to meet you through practically mutual friends, and pretty much me doing the interviews and everything. And we started to link up because you promoted a little bit of my shows that I've been having with other poets. And I was like, let me check this guy out. And I saw a little bit more of your info, started to see a little bit of who you are. You got your own beautiful Not Enough Words company, which is amazing publishing company. Definitely you guys check that out. He has a beautiful, beautiful book that is out and an album, which we about to get on to. I got to hold that because that's some flames and fire in that one. Okay. We're going to get on that. But this guy was, finalist on a couple of amazing poetry slams. What else can I say? He's an amazing guy, a charming husband, and most importantly, just a true activist in his words and just ambiguous with all that he loves and all that he endures. This guy is a beast. Like literally, he works day and night, hustling, grinding, and always not even just for himself, but with everybody along. When he sees good spirits, good energy, he brings them right next to him and holds them right down and just go on the grind. I mean, when I say James C Ellerbe, it means true beast mode. So welcome to my awesome space where I finally get to talk to you guys. So definitely tell us who the heck, I know I can say it so much, but tell me who the heck is Mr. James C Ellerbe. Hey.
Well, such a dynamic intro. But I'm originally, a lot of people think I'm from Newark because I owe a huge debt of gratitude to Newark. I wouldn't be the type of poet that I am if it wasn't for the Newark poetry community. But I'm originally from Bergen County by way of Hackensack, New Jersey. And I came to spoken word when I was searching for something, just something different. I was kind of like a young teenager, late teens, who didn't really have a direction or a focus. And I literally, I would say definitely God was looking out for me.
Yeah.
I came across a flyer to an event at Brokers, the formerly known as Brokers in Newark. And I was writing, but I didn't really consider myself like a poet because, the type of poets that I studied in high school, like, your Maya Angelou, your Paul Lawrence Dunbar, Langston Hughes, Nikki Giovanni.
Yeah.
I didn't see myself in that class. But it wasn't until later that I realized it's not about their level, it's about my level and my voice and what I want to say and where I want the words to go, And so I went to Brokers, and that really changed everything for me. I met a phenomenal poet by the name of Flo Mentals, and he's been like my big brother in spoken word. One of the big pioneers in spoken word in Jersey, and is when you talk about New Jersey poetry, you have to mention his name, because when Jersey poets wasn't really getting a lot of respect, he was trekking over to New York and making a name for Jersey. So and giving a bit of legitimacy to Jersey, and it was through him that I would come across. Um, I think it was called the Poets Corner, which was at Bogey's, and that that was like the Renaissance for me. Like I would say the second Renaissance, because we already know there was a Black Renaissance.
Yes.
But that was like the second Renaissance, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of poetry, especially in New Jersey. And that's when I ran into, you know, Helena D. Lewis, Talam
Hmm.
Acey, Lamar Hill, Tammy Carr. I mean, the list goes on. Kurt Nugent,
Wow.
Starsky, Jamal St. John, and all these great,
Hmm.
notable poets who are synonymous with being, vets in Jersey. And that's where it started for me, where I really started honing my craft and to where I am today in my art.
Oh, wow. And I mean, to touch a little bit more into the depths of, you mean you practically found your own identification through your poetry and your words. And I notice commonly through your poetry, you speak a little bit touching upon more so of being a Black man in America and the internal and the external of the situations. But it's kind of cool. This particular book, you practically touch a little bit with a not spinal. What am I talking about? Nursing. You have like a nice science. There we go. Science. I don't know where spinal came from, but science. You have a nice science like infusion to it with time and space and such. But I would like to go into depths of where in the world did you get time to find inspiration and motivation and with not just this particular book but every single piece that you do, like where did the inspiration come from?
Well, I'm a true blurred. I'm a true Black nerd. I like to hide it sometimes, but the reality is I am through and through a true Black nerd. I love science. I love just knowing the unknown.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about poetry, it poetry has no limits. So I can bring a lot of that into my work,
Mhm.
and not feel like I have to hide or anything. That was like one of the things I struggled with as a young man, a young, Black man, is trying to balance society, you know, me being a lover of science, me being a lover of words, and all the things that I'm into, sci-fi, comic books, all that good stuff. And poetry gave me a lane to express all these things. Like, yes, I'm a Black man, but I'm not limited to being just a Black man.
Yeah.
I there's many dynamics to my personality and to the things that I'm interested in life, and we tend to get, you know, categorized as one thing, like being
Mhm.
when there's many different aspects, many different beliefs, many different uh, thoughts that our community has. So you can't really put us in a box or
Yes.
try to categorize us. So that's what poetry did for me. It allowed me to break those chains and become free in my work. Yeah.
Well, there we go. And I believe your beautiful co-host actually said some things too. Yes,
Vera.
mama, mama. Mira. And she also says, yes, he is a beautiful Black nerd. I feel like that's what we got in common too. When we were like talking behind scenes, I mean, we were like talking about the most nerdy. If you ever want to see a Black nerd conversation, come to me and James, and I promise we're like so confused about everything. But hey, you know what? That's our thing. That's our thing. And I'm glad to say that I have my own thing with him. I want to get onto your website too, because you do have a beautiful you pretty much have two websites. You have your own that promotes a little bit more into depths of your own works and such. I'm going to show them that real quick. And you also have the NJ poetry events. So before I get onto that, I was looking at a little stuff for myself too, by the way. So definitely you could search, you could go onto Google, you could easily just search up his full name and literally his link will go straight to it. But here is exactly his link. It pretty much shows the words, the music, and practically even more. All of his Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name, you can follow it right here onto his site. Want to click onto it. If you want to get his book, which we're going to go into a little bit depths of, Beyond the Event, he has it right here. Beyond the Event Horizon, Beyond the Event Horizon is right here. Paperback and ebook if you actually want. He got the audio, which we're going to go into depth, and I'm going to show you guys a little snip of one of my favorites, and then we're going to talk about one of your favorites too. It's really, really cool. And it's not only just the album. You guys can also go on to Apple Music. You will go to Spotify, which I'm about to show you right now. And it's really, really just a whole, when I say listen to this album while driving in your car, it feels like you time travel. It feels like you go somewhere else and everything. I mean, the guy just puts you in the album and you stay there and you feel like what's the Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy, if I could put it.
Nice.
Yes, it's a great comparison. It's the Black version of Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy. Because he really, I mean, him and multiple others from Tory Live, shout out to Tory Live, Uninvited, Raz. I mean, there's so many so many more that I definitely don't even just don't have the time to like say to the list. But when I say he's inclusive, I mean the guy is literally inclusive. Let me show them a little clip of my favorite poem.
Can't wait to see this.
Yes, this one's my favorite. This one is my favorite, and I have it purposely at a part that I really, really enjoyed, because that's what, I mean, it's this one line that just made me say, I'm in love. So I'm going to play for the people real quick for you, okay?
Okay.
Everything consists of time. Like, she doesn't want to go on a date because she doesn't have the time. What she should have said is, why should I waste my time on someone like you? We tend to relate time to all types of stupid stuff, like funny how time flies when you're having fun. I don't see anything fun about that. And if we were having fun, wouldn't you want it to last? Not a thing of the past. Or here's a classic. I think it's time to go. No, I think it's time for me to leave your late butt, because I can think of better things to do with my time. You gotta excuse me, but I just hate that word time. Or anything that has time in it, like better luck next time, or hey brother, you got the time? Yes.
Hey brother, do you got the fun? So with you on this one. Because number one thing, if anybody knows me, I hate two things. I hate that time, and I definitely hate that I get a paycheck because it doesn't stay in my bank account. So, I mean, this one, time is such a essence. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. You get, this is the one I felt like I was really just on a whole journey. Pretty much just being in your shoes. You go from a moment of where like you're associating with a stranger, like, do you have the time, to a part where you're trying to go on a date and then the girl don't have time for you. And what really just clicked to me the most, I'm going to reread it again for everybody if you just missed this part. It's literally, it's like the part that, let me get it. Okay, here it is. It says, but I just hate that word time, or anything that has time in it. Like, better luck next time, or do you have the time? And you can literally associate that in multiple ways, because that could be meaning, oh, do you have the time to help me out or do a favor, or do you actually do have the time? Like, you bring this beautiful like twists and turn of how can we really actually perceive what the meaning, and why do you actually hate the word time? So let's just dive into this one. Get me to understand why you hate time.
Well, the name of the piece, if you notice, I'm saying time 3 times. So there's actually 3 poems that deal with time. The first one is the first 2 are in the book. The first one is just time, and that's just like stating like time can heal all wounds, even from a bad relationship. Because the whole poem, I'm talking about a relationship that went bad, and having the time to heal. And then the second time, which is time scorn again, it's not having the time to be with someone because that person is with someone else. Yes. And then now here's the third time where I'm just totally fed up with time and the concept of time. So yeah,
it's just
time.
And it's just so like, well, actually, Keith got it and nailed it. He has consistency, and he took the word from me. It's timeless. How do you feel just seeing those 2 bold words that Keith just mentioned? Actually, how do you feel?
He gets it. Like, when I wrote it, I wanted the whole piece to encompass what time is all about, and how we can become victims to time. And sometimes it sometimes it can become overwhelming, because time is so fast. We live in a fast-paced society. Everything has got to be, right away, and that can get you in trouble a lot of times. So, sometimes we I keep saying time. We have to slow down. I was doing it myself. we have to slow down and really appreciate life, and not be so obsessed with time,
Yes, there you go. I mean, it was just something so just, first of all, it's rhythmic. Shout out to everybody who was part of that particular piece and project, and giving character to the whole sense, because there's parts where you're not even speaking, you have somebody else speak that line to make it feel like we're at that time.
and it was just so sporadic. Like that the whole process was so sporadic. Like, it was truly on an organic process. Shout out to Uninvited for producing every track on the album. I knew what I wanted. I knew the concept of what I wanted, but I didn't think it was possible musically to capture it. And he did it. and he did it. And then just to have all the elements, you know, in the studio and us vibing off each other, and you know, I couldn't have done this project to the magnitude that it is if it wasn't for every person that was a part of it, from Uninvited to I Am Mega for recording and being the evil genius, creating all the sound effects and little tweaks here and there. That was all him. And you know, Tory Live, Goddess Day, Raz Haru, you know, all played a major part to this project. And you know, it you know, it's truly a concept album. Like I think that we have gotten away from that. Only a few, like Kendrick Lamar and you know, a certain, you know, very few have kept that tradition. So, you know, and I wanted to create something that bridges the gap between poetry and music and does it like in an effortless way, so it doesn't sound like a stacking of, you know, non-complementary elements. This is a true marriage of art forms, of bringing you know, music from hip hop, jazz, R&B, to roots reggae, all meeting up with poetry.
It's just, oh my goodness. And actually, Miss Bala herself actually made a comment. She said one of my favorites is when you guys together perform and the poem with Tori. Oh yes. She's about she's talking about this one. I want to make sure I say it correctly. It's got a date with the devil. That's the one that she's also talking about, and I think she's talking about the no haikus. If I'm stating correctly, if she's meaning the one altogether, and she didn't mention who altogether she meant. You were saying so many guys, so many people. I mean, it's just overall, the whole. It's a huge pack of essence, blackness, and lyrically science. It's just different. Definitely tell us the process of, well, one, the book came out before the EP.
Right.
Definitely tell me the process of the book itself, because you do have different chapters, and pretty much it's almost like layers. Oh, she said I was correct. She did say I was right. She said I was right. It was no haiku. I had a feeling. Woo!
Thank you, Amira.
Definitely tell me, you know, how did you really get the process of, you know, Beyond the Event Horizons book, and then how did it lead you to doing the EP? Definitely get us into that scoop.
Well, Beyond the Event Horizon, that title alone is dealing with science. The event horizon is the place in a black hole where matter is destroyed. They call it the point of no return. And it's theorized that, you know, anything that gets to that point is pretty much a done deal. But there's also a theory that that it might not be the end. It might be the beginning of a whole new universe. So I use that as a metaphor for my life. Whereas there were things in my life that nearly brought me to the breaking point. But through that process, I came out the other end a new man. And so I wanted to deal with that metaphor, but also I wanted to kind of, like, I would read a poetry book and I always wanted to know a little bit more about the words, because you have your interpretation, but you don't know why the author wrote the poem, what was going on in that author's mind, you know, what experiences were going on at the time. And I said, you know what, I'm going to give people that. I'm going to really take people inside the mind of this poet and give you a progression from early writings as early high school to all the way to adulthood. So you can see the transition of thought and of me becoming a better writer. Whereas more, more of my early stuff was very emotional, wasn't fine tuned. It was just like, just open the floodgates. And the older I got, I started getting more introspective. I started harnessing that emotion into a fine point. And you see that whole process through the book. And, you see my story. It's like my poetic diary. So you literally have to read it page
It
by
really
page.
is. Because you do have some of the poems that you have in the book is also on the album, which was Time. And but you also have different ones where, some of their folks put their own part into it and a little twist of their idea of using the theme too. But it's almost as if you guys like literally studied your book and then just made a whole nother level with the EP. And so how was process? Was it really hard, like really getting collab? Because I know every single one of them completely different type of poetry. How was it like really trying to get the project all together for real?
The funny part is I didn't intend to produce an album. I was on the verge of writing, and I pretty much got the second poetry book done. So, but I still want to fine tune it a little bit. And wait a little bit because I have another project that came to mind. And I want to do that first before I get into that, but we can talk about that later on. But I was talking to Uninvited and we're just talking about, the things that we want to do in this poetry game. And I mentioned to him that I always wanted to do an album, but the elements weren't right, the timing wasn't right and everything. And he looked at me and was like, I'll do your album. And I was like, I didn't even know he did beats, at the time. But then, and come to find out he did a lot of the beats on his own album. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And then he would, we had a session and, he would play these beats. All these beats, like most of the beats were pretty much already done. There was, I think, maybe might have been three beats, if my memory serves me right, that he had to do from start to finish. But as I'm listening to these beats, I'm like, wow, this vibe fits perfectly with this poem, and this vibe fits perfectly with that poem. And before you know it, it was all coming together in this beautiful, tapestry of art, and I gotta geek out a little bit because pretty much had, I knew what I wanted. I knew the arrangement after I heard the beats and so forth and what poems go with what. But I said I needed an opener. I needed something to really set the stage.
Gotcha.
I needed that intro that when you heard it, you were like, okay, this is about to be something different, And so I wanted originally to have Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he didn't answer me. He didn't answer me. That would have been crazy. I would have really lost my mind if I would have got him on the album. But I started following this science journalist. He's a vlogger on YouTube named Fraser Kane. So that person that you hear in the intro interacting with Omega as he's spitting his rhymes, that's actually sound clips from a documentary or one of his vlogs, What is a Pulsar? And so I just hit him up. One day. I said, you know what, I'm gonna just send him an email and see what he says. Literally the next day, he sends me an email back saying you can use anything on my vlog. And he said I would be honored to be, to be featured on your album.
That's
And
amazing.
so this is a guy, this is a very prominent science journalist, vlogger, and he's on my album. And the way I am Omega put his interactions with him, I mean, that's just pure art.
It really was flawless. It's really flawless because you don't, it's just so much, not like, it's not, I'm meaning like so much going on, but like literally in perfect order that you don't really even like miss it. You exactly hear perfectly on time, one thing right after another. It's like literally gravity just capturing you at that moment. And definitely I really have to, first of all, shout out to you and shout out to every single person that collabed with you, because it's almost like you just stitch them and quilt this whole thing in. And it's just so much wisdom. It's just so much encouragement. And it's so much just enjoyment of knowledge too, right at that. Because once again, nerd from nerd. We just enjoy life. So for me, I had a blast. Like literally, I would play it going to either work or going to the gym or going somewhere, even if it was just to get some gas for the car. I would just play it, and I'm just like just amazed. And every time I just had something different, I just heard something different, thought of something different, just encouraged me even differently to like, yo, I gotta be on. Like this is a whole another level. This definitely
that's the essence of the title itself. Pulsar.
Yeah.
A pulsar is a neutron star that collapses. I mean, a star that collapses into a neutron star, and it starts to spin, and the gravity that it gives off a signal, and each pulsar has a distinct signal, a distinct sound. And just like my album, each track has a distinct vibe, a distinct train of thought. Yeah, and that's just the essence of the album. Yeah.
Yo, so did you wanted to share one of your favorite, or like one, or you want to like spit? What you want to do? What you want to do? It's your time.
Yeah, that Amira likes no haiku. I'll do it my part on it, but you definitely got to hear, for all those that are listening, you definitely got to hear the album version, because it's just three minds just going at it like like gladiators on the track. So but this is no haikus. You can't fit these words in a haiku. They come fully loaded, no 12 gauge, just a semi-automatic to a loose leaf page. A physics lecture from an MIT professor, a mass murdering con with the science in them. These words got too much plutonium in Pluto. We go word playing with Wonder Woman. Lassoing our woes in a wind till they win the war. These words can't fit in a haiku because they go straight to the core, bore right to the BS. P.S. These furnishings come unfinished, completely diminish false notions without falsifying the evidence. It's relevant, relating rituals in a rhythm. Riddled ruins in time, it is the recall before the wreck. A propulsion projectile with a mild case of overuse. An unspoken truth from a truthsayer, a soothsayer trying to save her. Bathe her in love baths. It's the wrath of 7 synchronized psychopaths, a die cast of a demigod. It cattle prods codes into cerebral cortexes, a Lexus that lets us see the protector of mankind. A landmine of mind games. Such a punk like Bad Brains. You can't fit this IQ in a size 2. That's like trying to fit voodoo in a tutu. I guess I better hold back my words, because they can't fit in a haiku.
I was waiting for it. I was like, I better not say, because that was that's my favorite part. And then the homie, like, did he just say fit voodoo in a tutu? You guys gotta listen to that part right there, because that's the part where everybody like, wait, dang, homie just said you can. It's like fitting voodoo in a tutu. You got my old partner. That just blew up the whole page. Everybody's just stuck on that one. Now that's gonna be in everybody's head right now. Voodoo in a it's just said money. I think that is everybody's favorite line right there. Oh my goodness. Man, I gotta give it to you. Definitely congratulations on so much of your success. It's just so beautiful. I felt it was just one thing getting to know you, whole thing, and you're so humbled. Oh my gosh, this guy is a humbled as pie. Humble pie for real. Once again, I gotta give all credit when it's due. It's like not only to you, but everybody that was part of your whole entire project. I want to like really just ask you how do you use your art and poetry and words and your whole business, like you just the whole essence of James C. How do you use yourself as a source to change the entire world? How do you do it?
Well, as I'm changing, my words are a manifestation of that change. So whatever I write, I write to make an impact, to make you think about things differently, make you see yourself in when you might not see yourself. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes, like even one of the poems on the album, Close Encounters, the whole concept of close encounters is sometimes there's people outside of you that make you realize who you are and the potential that you have. And that's what the whole poem is about. I use a sci-fi kind of twist to it, but that's what I'm saying, because that's what happened in my life. There were, very key individuals that helped shape who I am and got me to realize my own potential, my own greatness. And we all have potential and greatness. We just have to tap into it,
Oh, so. There we go. Once again, it is the beautiful king himself, James C Ellerbe. Let's give it up for that guy, bro. I mean, I would throw flowers to you if I can right now. I just really do. I had so much fun this entire week, just taking the time, learning about you, spending time with you, checking up on you of how everything goes and such. Everybody literally the moment I literally said your name to everybody, and we talked about this too, how our names just can travel way quicker than we can. And moment I said your name to any and every person that I've like interviewed or going to interview, everybody's like, what? That's the greatest thing, because everybody was like, no, that's the guy I gotta watch. So I'm definitely thankful and grateful for all the people of you guys watching and supporting this guy right here that is just really phenomenal. Once again, definitely please go onto his website, definitely purchase your book right over here. And you can also, once again, you could purchase yourself a CD or a digital download right off of his website. Or in addition, once again, like how I did, I went to Spotify, Apple Music. I mean, he's literally even on SoundCloud, you name, he's literally everywhere. And if you just want to follow his page as well, let me show them the website for again, so they can see a little bit easier for them to go to. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Once again, you can literally just go onto his welcome page. right over here. He has his Instagram, his Facebook. You can also like just have a great time conversating with him of any and everything. He's really, really just a guy that wants to help and elevate not just himself but also others. And that's the number one goal he has, is to elevate and cultivate and just grow. And if you see, and seriously, he really is. He's just so ambiguous. Like, I can't stop saying ambiguous because that's just who you are, you know. Definitely shout out. Also, I can't forget. He also has the website NJ Poetry Events. If you're looking for to participate or you just want to go and watch an amazing show, shout out, he got me on here. He definitely show you open mic slams. He show you more interviews. He show you other people that also is going to be interviewed as well. And he has his own show with Miss Bala herself called When People Speak, right onto Facebook too. He definitely is just a go-getter, and he just love promoting multiple businesses. So if you definitely are in need of some advertisement yourself, or even just wanted to get into a couple of some slams yourself, he's your best friend to go to for literally any and everything. So once again, thank you so much. I truly do. I truly appreciate your time of coming here. I know I made your night.
Definitely. I appreciate being on your show and getting a chance to share, what I'm passionate about, because I'm just as much. I say this a lot, but I'm just as much a fan of poetry as I am a poet. So it's an honor for me to be on your show and as one of your poets on your show.
Oh, man. Thank you so much once again, you guys. It's a beautiful time, literally time to go. I don't know about you.
Gotta get up out of here.
Exactly. We're going to love one another. We're going to hug virtually safely, but most importantly, we're going to do poetry together. Thank you so much again for coming on to my show, and definitely stay tuned again for many, many more. Definitely, if you ever just know any or anything, you know that you are welcome with open arms right here on my show.
Appreciate
Have
that.
a great moment, everybody. Bye.